guys, before we jump into this week's episode of Petch Pals, just a little heads up. At the beginning of the recording, one of my guests' computer audio was playing up a little bit. You'll hear some clicks at the beginning. It does clear up further down the line. So please just bear with us for the first couple of minutes or so. It does clear up, I promise. All right, grab a brew and get ready for Petch Pals. Hello and welcome to episode 3 of Petch Pals. I sound more and more excited as this goes along because I'm positive any day now Ross is going to cancel one of these shows and I'm going to be like, oh no. But I'm so glad he's letting me carry on so far. Today I have brought on 3 more of my pals that I've met in real life as well. Evie, I met you recently at 53.2. Yeah. James, I met you round at Ross's house when we had a Nando's. And John, I think I've known you for a long time now, mate. How you doing? Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Everyone has seemed fine, yeah?
Yeah, good. All right.
Excellent. If you've not seen a Petch Pals before, basically what this is me, Petch, the producer, the content creator of Act on This. I bring 3 of my pals on just for a chat about the acting industry. I normally pick a subject, and if it goes off on a tangent, it goes off on a tangent. Last week's went off on a bit of a tangent. I'm not going to lie, but it's all good. If you can hear a bit of clicking in the background there, I think John's computer's playing up a little bit. Try and ignore it. It's all fine. We're here for the chat more than anything else. So yes, let me introduce you to my guys. I've already mentioned their names. If you could introduce yourselves, actually. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you found Act on This. Let's start ladies first.
Oh, go on.
Go on then. Yeah, I'm Evie. I feel like I'm shouting. I'm an actor from Hull, East Yorkshire, and I've been acting for about 5 years now. And I sort of just fell into it, really. I wasn't one of these people that grew up wanting to be an actor. In fact, I actually thought it was absolutely terrifying and was like the last thing that I ever wanted to do. But yeah, I sort of fell into it when I was like 16 and then worked locally for a while in theatre. And then I don't know how long I've been on Act on This now. A couple of years though. And I think my dad like stumbled across it because I was like, all right, I want to work outside of my little bubble, really. So I was like, I'm working locally a lot and I kind of want to get out there a bit more. So I was looking at any way to do that. And my dad was like, oh, have you seen this? And it was like on Facebook, he just showed me it. And I was like, oh, right. Yeah. And then I was like, okay, yeah, I'll give that a go. And I'm still here. So
what was it on Facebook that he saw? Can you remember?
I can't remember, to be honest. I think it was Facebook. Yeah, it probably was, because he doesn't really have much social media, so it was probably Facebook.
It was probably Facebook, but he can't even remember what he saw. We make that much of a lasting impression, obviously.
There you go, exactly. Yeah.
James, a little bit about you, pal, and how you found Act on This.
Well, I think it's well documented how I found Act on This, because I swear I mention it every time I talk. Lovely guy called Mark Beauchamp on Twitter. It was during the first lockdown and I was absolutely miserable because I was teaching online, and so I got a bit of downtime, was watching Twitter, and this really good looking bloke popped up with a super amount of energy.
Me?
Yes, Petch. Yeah. Petch, you're just as good looking. Don't worry there, you know. Petch
Actually, I'll get you everywhere.
And I watched it, and instead of flicking up, as you do on Instagram, I think it was, it must have been Instagram, instead of flicking up, I was drawn into it, and I was drawn into Ross's enthusiasm, and I started to begin to really think, oh God, this guy's telling me, I can be an actor, and I didn't think I could be an actor. I thought my time was done, kind of thing. So next thing I know, I'm following him on Twitter and Facebook, and then the 5-day Accelerator challenge comes in, and I joined that.
So the 5-day Accelerator challenge is a challenge that Act on This run every now and again. I think we used to do it every month. I think we're doing it like every couple of months now. And it's a course. It's free of charge at the moment, where people can come in, experience what Act on This is actually like before purchasing. So you'll see some of the webinars. And what Ross does, and I do in the Facebook group, is we take you through a 5-day kind of course, which covers everything from headshots, showreels, casting directors, and just gives you a brief outline of where you are in your career at the moment and what we can do to progress it further. It's a nice little challenge. Carry on, James. Sorry.
No. I was going to end it not far from there, because I have a habit of waffling. So, the 5-day Accelerator challenge, I absolutely loved it, and this is how I know I've been doing Act on This for a year, because my yearly subscription was renewed yesterday.
Yes.
And yeah, so you're stuck with this balmy brummy.
We love you, James.
For another year, and I just followed the advice. I followed it, and the more Ross and you guys talked, the more I saw of the in-depth interviews on that 5-day challenge. At the end of the 5-day challenge, I got my monthly membership, and then I just thought, I can do this. I think I can do this. I'll go for a yearly membership. Really kind of push myself. So yeah, that's how I got there. But in terms of being an actor, I've been doing it. I've got a degree in it. So I've got a BA Honours in Drama and Performance.
Excellent.
And I left in 2009, not with a drama school, but just a normal university degree.
Which university was that?
The University of Wolverhampton there, mate.
Wolverhampton. See, a lot of actors I know, and I was actually speaking to one this morning before we jumped on this call, was the first thing he said is, I've not had any formal training, I've not been to drama school, I've not been to university. And I'm like, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. There's so many ways into this industry, and some of the best and most successful actors that I know haven't had that formal training. They've had training, they've gone to screen acting classes or whatever, but and you know, that is important. You need to hone your skills, you need to hone your craft. It's like being match fit. We just had Ian Bevitt on for a call this week, and he said he always compares it to football. He says, like, you could be Lionel Messi, or you could play like defense for Doncaster Rovers, say. And it doesn't matter where you are in your career. If you're not fit enough to run around that pitch and do what you have to do, you're never going to get any playing time. And what that means for an actor is you've got to be match fit, like at the drop of a hat, for when a director or a casting director calls you in for an audition or for a job, you can go, right, bam, nailed it. I know exactly what I'm doing. So training is important. It's like going to the gym, it's working out, it's flexing that muscle. But it doesn't need to be drama school or university. And many actors out there, if you are an actor out there and you're listening to this and you haven't had that kind of training, don't worry, don't overthink it, don't panic about it. You're going to be absolutely fine.
Yeah, I mean, the laugh for me was right, this is not to discredit the University of Wolverhampton, but the laugh was, at the time, the University of Wolverhampton will accept anybody. I didn't actually have any. I couldn't do drama at secondary school because my secondary school didn't teach it. It was one of the only secondary schools that didn't teach it. So I had no drama A-levels, no drama GCSE. I just had this crazy idea that I could act, and a few people told me, oh, you seem all right. I did one theatre show as just a member of the ensemble. That's all I had in my locker when I applied for the University of Wolverhampton. And they let me in with my A-levels in customer service. And there we go. So honestly, as you were saying, Petch, it's not the be-all and end-all. And
it's really not.
Compared to now, the plethora of opportunities you've got out there to train now for less of an experience. So like Act Up North, for less of a price.
Yeah,
like Act Up North, Act for TV. There's online stuff. There's casting directors that do some. Obviously, you have to know which ones are legitimate, and you're not paying over the odds. But compared to 2006, there's a lot more that you can do for a lot less.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. I think it's like what I saw somebody say the other day, it's like over 50 grand for at RADA. And I'm like, who's got, like, take that 50 grand that you want to spend on drama school and make a film. Yeah. Like, get the experience that way. You don't need to use it for drama school. It blows my mind. But if you want to do that, and I'm not saying drama school is rubbish, I'm not undercutting it in any way, shape, or form. I think drama school is brilliant if you want to go down the theatre route. Like, you need that training, you need the vocal training, you need to know how to project and hit the back of the auditorium. You need to know how to make things bigger and things like that. I get that. But if you're wanting to do film and TV, it's really, really not needed. But James, you're more qualified than I am. I don't have any of that. I'm just an actor. John, tell us about yourself.
Okay, well, my story is a bit like Evie's in a way. I mean, I've never had any ambitions to be an actor for most of my life, which has been quite a long one, as you can probably tell. About 5 or 6 years ago, I kind of got roped into it by my kids. People were kind enough to say that I had some kind of ability for it. And top and bottom was it, I absolutely loved it. It was just like a total discovery life that I could say. And I got
John,
I followed it.
Oh, we're losing you there a bit, John.
Yeah, I thought it seems to be freezing. I don't know whether there's something up with the internet here. It shouldn't be, but anyway. So I trained locally with David Johnson. To start out with. I do all sorts of training. I've always got something on the go training wise, because I just think you can never stop learning.
No.
And as you say, also, the more you do, the sharper you stay, because it's very, very easy to just think, oh, well, I haven't got any acting work on at the minute. I'll just not do anything.
Yeah.
And like you say, the mattress is gone. I'm always up to something. And that's a lot.
Oh, no, we're losing you again.
No. It seems to be breaking up. I don't know why. That's very strange. Oh, wonderful, isn't it? Yeah. I get an opportunity like this, and the internet lets me down.
The joys of live technology. But as I said to my guys before we pre-recorded, this is just going out as it is, warts and all. If it freezes, it freezes. If you hear a bit of noise in the background, you hear a bit of noise in the background. I'm not editing any of this, just so that you guys can experience the live raw chat that we are. Like, I don't want anything to come across as fake or manufactured. Like, whatever these guys say, as they say it, is true, and what comes out of my mouth is how dangerous. It's very dangerous, but is true as well. So, John, how did you find Act on This?
I think it was via Facebook, but you are literally delving back 4 years, maybe longer. I came along to the meetings we used to have at home, which I used to love those Saturday mornings.
They were great, weren't they?
And they were, and everyone was so welcoming. And obviously, you'll remember Eric very well. I mean, he kind of took me under his wing the first time I rocked up.
Just before you carry on there, John, Eric James Dean was a member of Act on This, who sadly passed a couple of years ago. And he was the heartbeat of Act on This. And I feel sorry for all our new members now that will never get to meet him, because as John said, if you went to one of these meetings and you were brand new, doesn't matter who you were, he would take you under his wing. My very first meeting, he took me under my wing, like everybody. And he's just this friendly, happy, down-to-earth guy who would chat to you about absolutely anything. It didn't even need to be acting related, just so that you would feel comfortable. Because the meetings got quite big, didn't they, John? You can attest to this.
There was one time with about 3 tables, I think.
Exactly, 3 massive long tables at home theatre if you've never been to it. And we would take up the entire thing. So it can be quite daunting if it was your first experience. But Eric James Dean would make a point to beeline over to you and just give you a hug, and that was it. So rest in peace, Eric James Dean. You're always in our thoughts. And I am chatting to Ross at the moment to see if we can do something for Eric as part of the Act on This community, whether it be like a scholarship or something where Eric, like we raise funds for him, and one actor who really needs it will get a headshot, a showreel scene, and a one-to-one with someone in Eric's name. So that's hopefully what's going to happen going forward. I said it on this. So Ross, if you're watching, come on, let's make it happen. Carry on,
make
John.
it happen. Make it happen for Eric. He was such a lovely presence in that room.
He was.
So that's I've been around with you guys for quite a while. As you say, the energy that comes out of Ross is amazing. It can be a bit overwhelming at times, but yeah, that's him, isn't it? Yeah.
If I could bottle that energy up and sell it, I'd make a fortune.
Yeah, well, the thing is, this is a tough business, isn't it? And I think we all have those moments when we're flagging and we're full of self-doubt and all the rest of it. And to get that sort of vibe from Ross, you think it re-energizes you. You think, yeah, I can do this. Mm-hmm. Let's make it work. And the resources there. I mean, if you want anything, it's just there. It's send him an email, and 9 times out of 10, he's got the answer for you.
Yeah, definitely.
Or if he hasn't, he knows who has. So, yeah.
No, exactly.
On that, John.
So, yeah.
He 100% on that, John. When you said he re-energizes you, seriously, every week I tune in on the Monday, and he does. He's enthused. He re-energizes you. You feel as though you can take on the world, and then that alongside the community. So where you meet Petch, and God bless Petch the other day. I think I posted about 3 questions, which is about more than I've posted in about 6 months. But he's there within 5 minutes. Bam, there's an answer. Bam, there's an answer. There's some wonderful advice. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's some great people in the group. I mean, hopefully soon we will get back to meeting up with in an actual room rather than virtually. But I've made some great friends and some great contacts through the group, mostly locally. But yeah, it's a great thing to have. And the more you can interact with people out there, the more you're going to learn, and the better connections you're going to make.
No, 100%. Act on This has always been a resource out there for people who want to get ahead in their career. So we do bring on all the best actors, writers, directors, producers, casting directors, you name it. We bring them on to talk to them to see how they got where they are in their career and how they can help other actors to get further on in their career in a shorter amount of time, which is invaluable in itself. But more than that, Act on This is a community. Yeah. We have the Facebook group, we have the private forums. And like John said there, you can join in as much or as little as you want, but you will make friends and good friends. Acting can be a very, very lonely profession, because if you're not on set, or you're not on stage, or you're not in rehearsals, it is literally just you and your computer. Oh, we've lost John.
Oh,
John, where's he gone?
Oh no, John!
John, I hope you come back, John. I'll carry on. Yes, as I was saying, it can be a very, very lonely profession, because it is just you and your computer trying to make the most out of this career.
Yeah, just on that as well, Petch. Sorry, I cut you off. But like in lockdown, I'm sorry, but I just thought that is so true, because in lockdown 1, I think I was living with my granny. It was like great times, but I used it as a bit of a motivational tool. So I was like, I wouldn't watch on the lives, but I'd watch it the next morning with my breakfast so that I could make notes and pause, because I often write down absolutely everything. So I'm like, I can't keep up if I watch it live. So I'm like, all right, I'll record it. But it was good for that. It was good for sort of just motivation, making you feel ready to do stuff in the day, because it's quite an easy thing to do, but just gets you in the right mindset for actually productive stuff. So
100%.
Carry on. Sorry.
No, exactly. And that's why we do the podcast as well. So you don't just have to watch the video. You can listen to the audio of it. So if you're out running, I'm keeping an eye on the waiting rooms to see if John pops back up. I hope he does. But if you're out running, if you're out driving, or if you're doing something else, you can just listen to it, which is absolutely fantastic. But what I was saying about the community is, if if you get involved as much as you want to get involved, you will make friends for life. Like John has said, he's been here, 4 or 5 years, and he's made some really good friends. I think all my acting friends have come from members of Act on This community. And yeah, it's really good. So you don't feel so alone.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate for any actor, if you're an actor out there and you're not part of Act on This, please do come and join in. And, you know, we will welcome you with open arms. James, especially, he gives the best hugs. I put you out there, James. But yes,
that's all right. I'm a hugger. We're all good.
we're all good. But yeah, we will take you under our wing, and you're not alone, is what I want to say. You are definitely not alone in this industry. There's millions, thousands of actors out there in our community that will take you and show you the way. So, guys, the reason I asked you guys particularly on today is this session is kind of inspired by Evie.
Oh, I'll
Kind of
take
is.
that. There we go.
So what I want to talk to everyone about today is the power of social media. Now, Evie at the moment is absolutely crushing it on Twitter. She's putting out these sketches, which the reason I wanted to bring Evie on and not other members of Act on This is because Evie's done something slightly different. You see Lawrence Russell out there. Big shout out to you, Lawrence. He does his sketches all about the industry, casting directors and actors and things like that, which are very, very funny.
Really
you
good.
See Johnny Weldon out there. We've had him on the site, again, doing sketches about the industry. Evie does sketches, but about being at school. So I hear this a lot from people. Oh, I'd love to do that, but everything has already been done about the industry. It doesn't need to be about the acting industry. In fact, you will hit a wider audience if you do it about something that's relatable to absolutely everybody else out there. And we've all been to school. We've all seen that character. If you've not checked it out, go check it out on Twitter. I'll give Evie's... Oh, John's back. Here he is.
Yay!
I will give Evie's and all my guests' Twitter handles out at the end of this call. So yeah, Evie's crushing it there. James, I see you crushing it. You're constantly messaging casting directors, other actors, asking for advice and promoting yourself, which is absolutely amazing. So you're crushing it in a completely different way. So I just want to chat about the importance of social media. You said that you found Act on This via Facebook, Evie, via Instagram, James. I know many people have found us via Twitter as well. So if you're not on these platforms, I know we've touched on it before, if you're not on these platforms, you are seriously missing out. John, you're back.
Yay! Oh.
Can you hear us? John, unmute yourself, mate.
I've just rejoined via my phone. My bloody computer's just completely... I've never known it. I've done hundreds of Zoom meetings and it's been fine, but it's having a fit of the funnies today, so sorry about that.
That is life. John, I was just saying that the subject of today is social media and the importance of being on social media, such as Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. So I'm gonna test you all a little bit first before we start chatting.
Before we start, mate.
So, in Twitter, you all have a bio. James, what does your bio say?
My bio tells you that I'm represented by...
What does it say?
Oh, my word. Word for word, verbatim. James Churchill Ellis, 30s, home studio. I don't know whether that's still on there. Home studios, warm, gravelly, something voice. Warm, gravelly, friendly voice. Always a pleasure, never a chore. Repped by Delaney Gray. Was on a massive adventure as a teacher, gave it all up to be an actor. It's around about that, basically.
Almost.
That's long.
Almost, James. Yours says actor/voice actor. Took the leap to leave teaching and follow my acting dream. Repped by Delaney Gray Management. Always a pleasure, never a chore.
Close.
Nice.
I've changed it
That's
recently,
close.
so yeah.
Close, I'll give you that. Evie, can you remember what yours says?
Mine's quite short. It's Yorkshire actor, rep Bedston Talent, or Sean at Bedston Talent. I have a tortoise called Ian.
Yes, you do. That is exactly verbatim, word for word. Well done. John, can you remember what yours says?
Oh God, it's been a while since I looked at it, but yeah, it's actor, husband, father, an all-round good egg, something like that.
Pretty much. Actor, husband, dad, an all-round good egg.
Close, yeah.
Very, very close. Like, not a lot of people still remember what they say in their bios, so I'm impressed, guys. I really am. So yeah, the importance. Let's go Twitter first. So, James, at the top of your Twitter, you've got your showreel pinned.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Love that. Evie, you've got your latest sketch, I believe, pinned.
My
At the top-
first sketch, yeah.
First sketch pinned. John, you don't have anything pinned at the top of your Twitter,
I
mate.
know, mate. I am a Twitter dunce, mate, and I'll freely admit it to anybody who asks.
So
I've literally, I need to be all over it. I know that, but I'm just not, and I need to get on it. I know that. Who can I ask?
well, you've got two excellent Twitter aficionados right here.
Right.
So just as we continue, a little test. Your Instagram handles.
Oh God.
Anyone?
Just my spotlight link, I think.
No, just your handle. Just your handle.
Oh, my
The
handle.
handle.
Mhm.
Mine's at James Churchill Ellis, because my Twitter one is the only one that I couldn't have at James Churchill Ellis. My Twitter one is at James Church Ellis.
J Church Ellis.
Oh, Petch.
Evie
At Evie Guttridge.
and John.
Not the faintest idea, mate.
Yours is at John Howard Jones. Now, the reason I've asked for all of that basically is I'm going to give some quick actionable advice now, just to get people started, and then we'll go into it a bit deeper in a second. So, ideally, your Twitter handle, your Instagram handle, and your acting name all need to be the same. Branding. And I say this because I was looking at somebody's I was looking for somebody's account recently, some work at Act on This, and their Twitter handle was nothing to do with their acting name. Their Instagram handle, again, was something completely different. And if I was a casting director or a director and I wanted to get hold of you or promote your work, I wouldn't know where to go.
Mm.
But if it's all streamlined, like Coca-Cola is Coca-Cola across everything. Yeah. Dr. Pepper is Dr. Pepper across everything. Converse is Converse across everything. It's branding. You are your own product. You are your own brand. So your little tasks for after Petch Pals is try and streamline everything. Yeah. Your actor name, your Twitter handle, and your Instagram handle. Have your show reel, or Evie, it's great that you've got your sketch. You say it's an example of your work, but for John especially, if you have your show reel pinned to the top of your Twitter, if you don't know how to do it, I'm saying this because I watched Daniel Blake the other day and it broke my heart. Have you seen it?
No.
It's going off on a tangent. It's this guy in Newcastle who had a heart attack and he has to go and sign on, but they won't give him disability allowance because they say he's fit for work. So he has to claim job seekers, but he doesn't know how to use the internet. And they're like, everything's done online. You have to go online, and nobody would help him. And I'm like, guys, if you ever get stuck over something, so I say trivial, it's not trivial because everyone needs to learn something. Do you know what I mean? But if you get stuck over anything to do with the internet, like Twitter or Instagram, drop me or any of the Act on This community a message. I'm sure we will help you out. We'll get you set up and we'll go over the basics and the fundamentals of things that you need to learn. So when I say you need to pin a tweet, John, if you don't know how to do that, if you do, great. If you don't, give me a shout. I'll show you how to do it. But what you do is you upload your show reel so it plays natively in Twitter. So your show reel needs to be under 2 minutes 20 so that it will play. And all that means is you don't put a link there so that somebody goes onto Twitter and goes somewhere else. They can see it playing as soon as they go to your profile. And that's brilliant, because I know loads of casting directors and directors that will see you tweet something and go, I wonder what this person's about, and go to your profile, and straight there, it's your show reel. They don't need to go to your Spotlight. They don't need to go to your Vimeo. They don't, because Twitter wants you to stay on Twitter. Does that make sense? It's all about algorithms and stuff. So if you're promoting a link to take you away from Twitter, Twitter isn't going to show it to people. So have it natively playing and pinned to the top of your Twitter profile.
I've literally just had my show reel back from Chris this week. Just re-edited it and everything with new headshots, the lot. So I'm going to pester you after, and we're going to get that pinned on the top.
We'll get that sorted for you, John. Not a problem at all.
Good man.
So, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Does anybody use LinkedIn, by the way?
I don't.
Yeah.
You do, James?
Yeah, I do.
Tell us about LinkedIn, because that's something I know nothing about.
It's difficult not to explain, but there's a really big divide of the people that use LinkedIn. That the only way to explain it is give a few examples. So somebody posted up something that maybe you would see on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook, and straight away people are on it going, this is not Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. This is for businesses. It's a very professional and corporate kind of feel, but it allows you to do quite it's user friendly in a sense that if you look at Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, the format is very, very much the same in terms of there's like buttons, there's each one has their own little intricacies, but LinkedIn is very much business orientated. It's a good way to promote yourself more as a business, and I'd say actually the more invaluable tool is IMDb Pro. Now it is expensive, but you can find people on LinkedIn, but I'm finding at the moment that everything that you could find on LinkedIn you can find on IMDb Pro, and the pros that I've looked for don't really use LinkedIn as much.
I always found LinkedIn to be like Facebook for businesses. I think that's how I describe it to everyone.
It's very professional.
But you can always, I know you said that you haven't found many people on LinkedIn at the moment. I've found a few people on LinkedIn that I've contacted via LinkedIn. I've linked in with them, which is why it's called LinkedIn. And, you can start a communication that way. IMDb Pro is brilliant. It is expensive. A little hack that I will give to you actors out there and to you guys listening is if you get like 4 or 5 people together and you just get one IMDb Pro account between all of you, like you're paying pennies between you. Do you know what I mean? And you get all the benefits for IMDb Pro. As an actor, you don't necessarily need IMDb Pro to promote yourself. All that does is it gives you an option to write your own bio in IMDb if you've got an IMDb credit, and you can put a picture of yourself on IMDb. That's what you're paying for. So if you get like a group of you and you get your IMDb Pro account between the lot of you, that's when you can go in and start researching who is who and who does what and what their contact details are.
That's the kind of thing I've found with IMDb. You can get lists, you can see things. Yeah. So I've really delved into it, and I think there's more to IMDb Pro than we initially thought. I know that because I've looked. So when I've tailored my emails to casting directors, I can see what's in so quite a lot of them, it's got this little handy thing on the side. It tells you if it's script, pre-production, post-production. So I've searched for things that are in pre-production, And, or at script kind of level. So then when you're writing those kind of emails out to casting directors, you've got a bit of a point of reference.
Exactly.
To kind of help you direct your email, because with the best will in the world, you can watch all the shows and try and keep on top of things. But there are some casting directors' work that, is not available at the moment, or you've best example, was it Kelly Valentine Hendry? Yeah, that I think she does Ghosts. Now, in my previous
Kelly Valentine Hendry is a casting director that we've had
casting director
on this.
I'm sure the only reason why I say that is because I've sent her my second email. So following kind of all the advice, my first email I mentioned about Ghosts and some of my favourite programmes that she's got. And in my second email, because I've got a new show reel, I kind of didn't want to use and she does the Bay, doesn't she? I'm sure she does.
She's done a couple of episodes of the Bay, yeah.
So I was able to kind of look at it and go, oh, I've noticed some things are in pre-production, and it just gives you that added extra. Whereas LinkedIn, I found difficult because I'm a massive Big Breakfast fan. I will shut up eventually. So Big Breakfast, for those of you old enough to remember, it was a massive morning television show. So
Chris
anyway,
Evans.
Long
Zig
story
and Zag,
short,
wasn't that Big Breakfast? Zig and Zag.
Yeah. I've got the Zig somewhere. I've given it to the girls and they love it. Anyway, and they bought it back because when it finished, I was 15 and I was gutted because there's a picture of me holding a turkey baster, because if you turn it upside round, it looks
Let's
like
keep this PG. Let's keep this PG.
It is PG. I'll find a picture, right? But a turkey baster, if you look at it, the big thing on the top, it looks like an old outside broadcast. Well, it looks like a microphone they're using the outside broadcast. I was only like 5, I think I was 5 or 6, and there's me, my granddad's wellies in my granddad's garden, pretending to be Chris Evans on the Big Breakfast. Long story short, when it ended, I was gutted because my dream was to go and work on that show. When they bought it back for the Black Appreciation Day, Channel 4 did, I was able to find out who was kind of producing it and making it so I could kind of offer my services. But with LinkedIn, I found the only way that I could message this person was if I had premium. And then you have like message credits. That's the whole crux of what I was getting to. Sometimes I found that if the person's not open to it, the only way they'll allow you, it's to stop people from consistently spamming people, I suppose.
I get that. Which is why Twitter is amazing, because if you know somebody's Twitter handle and their account isn't private, you've got to hope that their account isn't private. You can just at them straight away and you can start the conversation, or you can join in the conversation. Twitter, people get really confused about it, like, oh, what is all this arts and hashtags? And it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, what it boils down to is just a conversation between you and somebody else, or a group of people, and you've got something important to say. I've noticed my tweets this week. I've been tweeting about my lunch. I've never had so many responses on a pot noodle sandwich. But
it was very controversial, though, wasn't it?
I really struck a chord with that. So, yeah, I think the thing with Twitter and all social medias is you've got to be careful what you're putting out there to an extent. Be yourself, have your own opinions, be flexible with the opinions. Like if your opinions change, you can say, my opinions have changed from that. It's absolutely fine. But don't have anything out on social media that you don't want out on social media. Because once you hit tweet or send or anything, it's out there forever. You can delete it, but you can be sure someone somewhere's captured it and it will come back to bite you on your ass. I know there was examples of actors recently who have tweeted things way back in the past and it's come back to light and they've lost the jobs and things like that. So as much as it's a friendly place and, everyone's entitled to their opinions, just be careful with what you're putting out there at the moment. I'm seeing a lot of negativity thrown out on social media, which is why people tend to avoid it. Stay clear of that, or put a positive spin on things. Evie, how are you finding Twitter?
Yeah, good. I'm a bit of a social media, what's the word? I'm not very good with social media, basically, but I've just sort of flinging these videos out, and it's a weird thing when you kind of put something there and then other people move it around. So yeah, that's been interesting. And
so what's happening with these sketches? What was the impetus behind starting it, and how is it developed?
Well, I started making them because I wanted to learn how to edit, and also I'm not the most confident writer, so I was like, I'll just create something for me, and then I can practice editing it. So I actually made them back in a few of them back in November time. So, and I didn't post them straight away because they were just me mucking about really. And then I posted one, and I was absolutely shocked at people enjoying it. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. I'll keep doing it. If people like it and I enjoy making them, I'll just carry on. And yeah, now it's become a little bit of a fun hobby. So yeah.
So how many views has that first clip got, do you think? Or last time you checked, how many?
It was over 9,000, the first one. The first one did really well. Yeah, I don't know the specific number, but around there.
Just take that in for a second. 9,000 people have watched you perform.
Yeah.
You wouldn't get that in a theatre. You wouldn't get that on an acting class, because it's in social media. 9,000 people. That's a lot of people.
Yeah, and it's weird. I didn't think about people actually seeing it. It's weird, isn't it? With social media, I feel like you don't actually realize people are watching you do something. It wasn't until I went to Manchester and a few people were like, oh, are you that schoolgirl that does the... I was like, yeah. That it's oh, okay. Oh, you've watched. Okay, cool. And that's when I was like, oh, right, yeah, people actually watch it,
And what's that done?
It's weird.
What's that done for you going forward now? Are you taking it a bit more seriously? Are you going to continue doing it?
Yeah, I'm going to continue doing it. To be honest, at first it made it harder because I was like, oh, I was doing it just for me at first, and then I was felt a little bit of pressure from it, which is so stupid because it's still fun to do.
Oh, Evie's gone now. What's going on with the internet today, people?
We're doomed, aren't we? We're doomed.
I'm next for the chop, and
every week now. I need for a while.
Evie's back. You froze for a minute there. You kind of went.
Oh God, I didn't realise, and then suddenly everyone was shouting, and I was like, oh.
Carry on. Sorry.
I can't remember what I was saying.
So you said that you started off doing it for you.
Yeah.
So I was asking you, are you taking it? What's going to happen going a bit forward? You said it's harder now because initially you're doing it for you, and then you kind of froze.
Well, okay, it was harder because I started putting pressure on myself basically to make them. I still do it for me, obviously, but I was a bit oh, people, people were like, oh, I hope this happens, or they'd message me and be like, is this going to happen? And I'm like, oh God, okay, I'll try and see if I can make that happen. But
you don't have to pander to anyone. You can.
No, exactly.
The joy about that character is you can do exactly what you want with it. And I think it's a testimony to what you are doing, the fact that people are so invested. And sometimes it's even better if you go against the grain.
Yeah, definitely. Because
I saw the first one, something happened. I won't give it away if you've not seen it. Something happened. And it came back in the second one. And it came back in the third one. And I'm like, oh, I really hope this thing continues. I really hope it continues. But if it doesn't, I'll be like, ooh, that's something different now. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So you can have as much fun with it as possible. But the fact is that you're creating your own work now. You're putting it out there and thousands of people are seeing it. How does that feel?
Yeah, good. I mean, to be honest, obviously a little part of me is oh, I hope casting directors see it, or I hope directors see it, or whatever. But a massive part of how I feel about it is I'm just bloody chuffed that people like my work. Honestly, I'm just oh, people like what I'm doing, and it's given me such a boost with my writing and things like that that I didn't expect. I feel like if I'd have posted you know, if it had got, I didn't think people would have enjoyed it that much. So if I'd have posted the first one, it had got like 20 likes and 200 views, I would have been blown, like proper chuffed with that, you know. So it's cool.
It's fantastic because anything can happen now. You've basically created your own little sketch show, like Little Britain or like all the other sketch shows out there, because they all start as a concept.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've got a fan base following that, and you know you're consistently hitting big numbers, you can go to studios and go, I've got this character, I've got this fan base to go along with it.
Yeah.
What can we do? Like, let's create my own show around that. Like, you don't, at that point, you are not bereft of anybody else giving you a job. You've created your own job. And if you need a teacher for that job, there's a gentleman on the call right now who was a teacher.
Oh, there you go. You know, I've had people messaging me like, can we film a school showreel thing? But so, like, not so many people, but like I've had quite a few, and I'm like, I'm gonna end up with like 20 scenes of me in a school. Like, so it might be a bit overkill.
Brilliant for Waterloo Road though, when you get seen for them. So sorry, I'll come to you in just one second, John. I've noticed, David, now that you're posting it on Instagram and Facebook as well. What are you seeing between the three different social medias? Like, how is it being taken on the others? Or isn't it?
Well, it depends on like the people that follow me, to be honest. Because like, I'll be honest, I've posted one on Facebook because my mum wanted to share it.
Okay.
So she was like, post it on Facebook so I can share it. So I was like, okay. So I posted one on Facebook, but it was more, I put a comment on it saying, I'm not going to bombard all my socials all the time, but if you like this, you can find it over on Twitter. Mm-hmm. I also put them all on TikTok, which I have no idea how to use, but they're over there as well. But I started putting it on Instagram because I've got people that follow me on Instagram that don't have Twitter, that I thought not just for them to see it, but also like this is what I'm doing now. So if I've got an acting Instagram, I might as well put it on there. I've got the stuff.
Instagram is a brilliant platform for actors, and I know a lot of actors shy away from it, but everything that we do is in the visual medium. Everything that we do, whether it's on stage or on screen or anything. So why not have that platform which is all visual to promote our work? And it brings about new different challenges. So if it was to be on your actual profile, on your profile wall, it can only be a minute long. Or you can have an IGTV thing, which goes up to 10 minutes, and you can have just the first minute on your wall. You can have Reels now, which is very similar to TikTok as well. But there's so much creativity you can do on Instagram. I don't know why actors aren't on there. I really don't.
I do.
Tell me, John. Tell me why.
Well, certainly for me, I think it's a generation thing. I mean, you guys have all probably, presumably, grown up with this technology around you, whereas for me, it's all like semi-alien. I never used Facebook until I started getting involved in the acting world.
So can I ask you a quick question, John?
Of course.
Do you drive?
Yes.
Did you grow up driving?
Yes. Well, from the age of about 16, I think. Yeah.
But before 16, did you know how to drive?
Not a car, no.
when you first got into a car, did you know how to work it?
No, it took a bit to get used to it. Yeah,
and that's my point. Yes, it is. Yeah. I totally understand what you're saying. It is a generational thing, and I think people of a certain generation pick it up quicker than others. But just because that shouldn't be a block for you, because you've learned things in your life that you now do without thinking about, which you can also do on social media. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. It's one of those things where I always think, right, this week I'm going to go and properly get to grips with Twitter or whatever.
Yeah.
And something else will come up, a script will come in or something, and that job doesn't, which it is a job to me, that job doesn't get done.
Yeah.
Some of it's making excuses, and I know that.
Do you know what? I I don't begrudge anyone at all, especially people who say they're of an older generation. And you can see it in their eyes. They're really apologetic about it. And it's like, I'm so sorry, I can't do it. And I'm like, don't apologize to me. Like, when you had kids, you taught your kids how to wipe their own bum. Do you know what I mean? Like, they didn't know how to wipe their bum. And now, you know, everything's a learning curve. Everything's a learning curve. So...
Yeah, it is. I mean, I have set myself the goal over the next couple of weeks because I'm just doing the career's going quite well at the moment. Nothing startling, but everything's moving in the right direction. But I am so aware that I am rubbish on Twitter, and I don't use Instagram. I opened an account because everybody tells me I should have one, and I don't think I've ever put anything on it.
You've got 2 pictures on there, John.
Oh, right. Well, you know more than I do, which says it all. So, yeah. But, yeah, it is something. The world seems to revolve around it now.
It really does. Social media is here to stay, unfortunately, whether you like it or not. And it's like I said in the first episode of Petch Pals, for actors, use social media as work. I've created 2 accounts. I've got my work profiles and I've got my personal profiles. Now, my work profiles, I will always share things about my life as well, because, you know, if anyone does come across it, if you're just an actor, you're boring. Do you know what I mean? We've all got other things in our lives that make us who we are. I mean, if you don't know, I love Spider-Man. Do you know what I mean? That's going everywhere. I don't care.
Who doesn't know that? Who doesn't know
right?
that?
Everyone should know that. But what I was saying is, like, use social media as a job. So go on there for 1 hour, 2 hours a day. Schedule the time to go on there. Do what you need to do. Post the post that you need to post. See who's doing what. Comment on who's doing this, that, and the other. Promote some positivity. Tweet, retweet, share, and whatever it is that you do on social media, do it. Block that time in, and then after that, put it to one side. You don't need to worry about it. You've done that for the day. That job's done. I don't know if that would help you in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I think it would, because I do tend to schedule time on Facebook rather than just sort of idly browse it whenever I've got a minute. I tend to, when I get up in the morning, that's one of the first things I'll do. I'll check my emails and then I'll go on Facebook and see what's going on and see what leads I can pick up for jobs, or just even going out to support other people.
Exactly.
It's become a habit. Sorry to interject. You've turned it into a habit, and that's eventually what will happen with Twitter and Instagram. Is it becomes habitual part of your day because you've got used to it. I mean, I'm from the generation in the 90s. I like to think we were right in the middle in the 90s. We saw the end of what was kind of the traditional. I don't want to say traditional, but my best example is I was still taught with a blackboard, so we kind of saw this emergence of the technology.
Do you know what a blackboard is, Evie? Just out of curiosity.
I do know what a blackboard is. I didn't have them in school, but I do know what they are.
So it kind of becomes a need, really. I think because you don't need it because you haven't grew up with it, or it's not there, and you don't want it because you don't need it. There's that kind of element, whereas like Facebook and co came in when I was about 22, and you just kind of roll with it, just like he did with Facebook all that time ago. But I totally understand why, because I can see it from both sides. Because I kind of saw the coming of end at the end of everything, like end of blackboards and the end of this, end of that, kind of very traditional manual way of doing things into this new technology era. But if you ever want any help, though, John, just please give me a shout and I'll help you as best as I can.
I really appreciate that. Thanks. Yeah, cheers.
I think the thing is to, like I say, schedule a bit of time. And don't try and do everything all at once.
Yeah.
Like just learn the basics to start off with on one of the platforms, be that Twitter or Instagram, and then get savvy at that, and then move on to the other one, or learn the intricacies going forward, like the algorithms and the best time to tweet. And it is a minefield. I'm not going to lie. If you don't know what you're doing, it can be a minefield. But the same as when you learn to drive, that first lesson, you just did the basics, and we build from there. And now it's like breathing, I would imagine. You don't get in the car and have to think about things. It's just second nature. And that's exactly what will happen with social media. And you never know, you might enjoy it, John.
Well, you never know. I mean, I do enjoy Facebook. Well, most of the time, like you say, trying to avoid the negativity. But
yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it's something I'm very aware of. Is a quite a serious failing in my sort of career plan, that I don't use it, and I don't use. But if I do use it, I briefly engage with people on Twitter, and I'll always say something nice if something's worth saying something nice about. Otherwise, I don't say anything.
Yeah, my mum taught me that. If you've got nothing nice to say nothing at all. It's not a failing, John. It's not a failing. There are no failures in life. There are only lessons. And if you are learning, you are succeeding.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm still learning. I'm still out there.
And like we said at the beginning, every day is a school day. You only stop learning when you're dead. So
yeah,
that's a long time off. It's a long time off for all of us, hopefully. Fingers crossed. So, as we've said there, the downside to social media is the negativity, the haters, and all that. I put a thread out recently about how actors only put out their best side of themselves when they're in rehearsals, when they've got a job, when they've got an audition, when they're on screen. Like that's tends to be the general go-to for actors. And as much as I praise and want to like celebrate those actors and their successes, because it fills me with joy seeing people succeed, there's always that thing in me where I'm like, it's not me though, is it? Oh, I've not had a self-tape in X amount of time, or I can't remember the last time I was on set or stage. What's that? Do you know what I mean? And you start feeling down. So I put this thread out of like, that's absolutely normal, and try not to compare. When you compare, you despair. Remember that everybody's on stage is there on stage. You're not seeing their backstage. And if you've done theatre, you know how hectic it is backstage, trying to get into your costume and find your prop and remember your line, and oh no, the technical side's gone wrong. But the audience will never see that. They just see the smooth, finished, polished piece on stage, and that's what social media is like. So it's okay to feel that way, but not to get bogged down in that. But I also think actors really need to make an effort to go, do you know what? Life isn't all roses. It's not. So in this thread, I put like, you know, I've not had a self-tape in 5 months. Doesn't mean I'm a failure. Doesn't mean I'm rubbish. It's just a fact. It's happened. And there's loads of reasons why that is. Like, it's not down to my agent. If I'm not working, it's my fault. Like, there's something I'm not doing there. But, you know, that's just the way that the industry goes sometimes. But let's put things into perspective, shall we? What's happening in Ukraine right now is far worse than me not getting a self-tape. Like, I can't even start to complain about, you know, if that's my biggest worry, I'm winning in this life. To which somebody called me pathetic, comparing it to Ukraine. And I'm like, I'm sorry that you've taken offense to that. It was never my intention. I'm just saying that let's put things into comparison here. So even on a tweet like that, where I'm trying to promote positivity and actors like, rise them up, I'm still getting hate. Have you guys experienced hate, and how do you deal with it?
Well, if I'll say no, I haven't, but that's probably because I'm not that active. I mean, I've witnessed it in other cases, but fortunately not been on the receiving end of it. It's horrendous for some people, isn't it?
It can be, yeah.
Yeah,
especially
a innocent remark, and you know, next minute you're being pilloried all over the internet.
Especially in this age where we try and promote be kind to others. The death of Caroline Flack, you know, and everyone was just like, just be kind now. That message seems to have gone. After the pandemic, everyone seems to be out for themselves. It's a struggle, but this is why we're here to try and promote positivity. Evie, what about you? With these sketches, have you received any kind of negative feedback or anything?
You know what? I haven't actually. Yeah, I've sort of thought about that because my dad asked me about it. He was like, "Oh, do you like? Have you had anything like that?" And I was like, "No, everyone's been really, really lovely." And he was like, "Oh, well, just so you know, if you carry on doing this, you might get a bit of that." And I sort of thought about it, and I think I would find that quite difficult actually. But it is just social media. I think people feel safe behind the screens, don't they? And they think they forget, just like I didn't quite get my head around the fact people are watching me. I think people don't quite realize that the words they write, people are going to read sometimes, or at least they don't think enough about it before they put it out there. But yeah, no, I'm lucky. I've not yet received anything awful. People are generally, my experience on Twitter is people are really supportive and really, really lovely. There's such a community of people as well. There's people that I'm like, oh, I know them. And I'm like, you do not know them at all. You've just seen them tweet a few times. But everyone just seems so nice. But there definitely are people out there that will try and tear down anything anyone does. They're just going to try and...
No, there are people out there that want to cause an argument and want to cause a fight regardless of whatever's been out there. You could be... Erin Shanahan said on her podcast, Erin Shanahan is an actress from The Bay that we recently had on, and she said you could be the nicest person in the world and someone's going to take offense to that. To which I always say, hurt people. If people are if people are that upset in their own lives that they need to take to the keyboard and type something hurtful to somebody else, there's something seriously wrong in that person's life. So a little tip, and it's not always easy to do, but if you do experience that kind of bullying, that kind of negativity online, instead of just snapping and firing back at them, which is what they want, take a breather, go for a cup of tea, come back and ask them, what's wrong? What has upset you? Why are you so hurt at the moment? What can I do to make you happy right now? And, it's 9 out of 10 times we'll go, I didn't realize that you'd see that. Well, of course I'm going to see it. You added me in it. I'm going to see it. But what's wrong? Let's make you happy right now. Sometimes it'll work, sometimes it won't, but never take it personally. It's not you. Hurt people. And I couldn't go on to the keyboard and start typing negative things. I don't have time. I really don't. If someone upsets me or anything, I'll try and help them. And if not, I'll move on. James, as a teacher, what about you? Have you experienced any kind of negativity online? And what would you say to your students if they did? How would you help them?
It is a difficult one because, I've had some negative comments. And it's actually the one person, it just tends to be the one person. Now, it's just this one person that can always seems to find a negativity out of it. So, but I suffer with a mental health condition called generalized anxiety disorder. So I tend to overthink everything. And so I'm constantly on this sounds really... I'm just very hyper aware of what I say and how I say it, because I know if it goes wrong as badly as it has done for some other people, that would push me down a black hole a little bit. But I'm also trying to learn how to be resilient to it, because at the end of the day, what I've seen is people... You've just got to stay away from something, a bit like what you said earlier at the start of this. Don't say something that you don't really want to be out there. So it's not that I don't have an opinion. It's just I am very careful where I voice that opinion.
Yeah.
Because, and trying to look at it objectively, because... I'm Captain Fairness in our house. So, I have to try and see it from both sides of the coin.
Yeah.
So I try and look at it in that sense. There, when you post something, and try and look at the negative and the positive side of it. People are either go, yeah, that's great, or somebody will come back, oh, why are you doing this for? That's rubbish. But you know what? We're all entitled to our opinion. It's just how we verse it out there, really. So I don't really want to post things about, let's say, for instance, the war in Ukraine, purely because I know there will always be somebody that won't agree with it when it's very political. So I just kind of stick to what I know. So yeah, classic example. I put a picture up of behind my name, I'm James Churchill Ellis. My mum's maiden name is Churchill because James Ellis was taken. And I'm really gutted about that because the geezer who's got James Ellis, he's like a buff muscle man. And I'm like,
that's you, James. That could be you.
Flipping hell. I'm a 6-pack of Greg's sausage rolls, not a 6-pack. Anyway, so I had to put the Churchill in it, and I am proud of. And weirdly, my ancestry is from black slavery. So my granddad was half caste because he's not with us, and his dad was one of the first migrants from America, and he was black. So I even though Churchill, I put up a picture of me in London standing next to Churchill and pointing up, and I thought, oh, I'll do that as James. There's the Churchill, there's the Ellis. Yeah. And somebody put up and went, oh, apart from the fact that Churchill was a Nazi-loving something or other. And I'm like, oh, great. Okay. So I've tried to kind of keep away from that kind of stuff. And I thought you've even managed to turn a really innocent picture of me standing underneath Churchill, because there's Churchill in my name, and turned it into an opportunity to say, well, Churchill was great apart from this, that, and the other. So there's one or two bits of advice that what I took, you could say it was wrong. I just thought, you know what, I feel like I've offended somebody. So if I've offended somebody, I didn't mean to offend, and I took the image down, and I thought I'm not gonna pursue that. I could have got embroiled in, trying to explain my rhetoric behind it. But yeah, I think when things fall into the kind of political kind of realm where your opinions are very divided, there's a risk. But yeah, my advice is just don't put anything up there that you haven't thought about first.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a bit like when they say just you may feel a specific way before you go in an argument, so you're all guns blazing, and then it's weirdly how you go to bed and the next morning
you see it clearer.
You see it so much differently.
Yeah. Which is why I say when somebody attacks you online, take a breath, go for a cup of tea, come back with it with fresh eyes.
So I try not to. So mine is just don't post anything that you wouldn't be happy to show your mum.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, read it back first and just go, look, is somebody gonna, you can go to the extreme and look at, oh, well, they could find offense with the way I've spelt this word, because my wife always picks at my spelling.
Yeah.
So every time I freaking send a card, right, I've missed an apostrophe or I've missed something, and I'll go, do you like that? And she goes, yeah, you spelt "your" wrong or something like that. And you're like, for God's sake, there's always one person that finds one thing the matter. However, my last breath on this subject, because I'm rattling on, is so I sent her she sent me a card for my birthday, and I finally got to pick something out. I went, oh, question mark. All right. Oh, I didn't need to put that. Yes.
Excellent.
Wonder. Anyway, I'll shut up now.
Here's the thing. A lot of things came to me when you were talking there, James. The first thing is, I love this, but opinions are like arseholes. Everybody's got one and they all stink. So, it doesn't matter. Putting what you believe out there and fearing that it might offend somebody, chances are it will. You can't people please. But as long as you are true to yourself, you can't really do anything wrong as such. I mean, don't go out there and start calling people CUNTs and things like that. But I see people doing that and it works for them. Steve Everts. If you follow him on Twitter, that's all he ever says, and it's quite funny. But you've got to be true to yourself. You will never please 100% of the people 100% of the time. Like you, James, I'm vegan. People who don't know that, I'm vegan. And for a long time, I was very skeptical about putting things out there about being vegan, because somebody will always comment back, where'd you get your protein? What about chicken? What about bacon? What about cheese? And I'm sick of having those arguments. But now I'm putting it out there. And instead of engaging in the fight, I'll go, I'm vegan, and I'll leave it. Your opinions are your opinions, and everyone's entitled to them. You do you. I'm going to do me. But here's a video of the chicken that you've just eaten, having its head cut off. Are you still happy with that? Cool. So that's what I do. Yeah, it works for me. But yeah, be true to yourself always online. And no matter how many likes, comments, or retweets, or quote tweets, or whatever you get, our brains have this negative bias. It's built in us, and it's there to try and protect us. And as soon as you see one negative comment, that is all you will focus on, regardless of the thousands that have said it's absolutely amazing and that you were brilliant and this, that, and the other. You will focus on that one. So switch it. And it takes a bit of practice, but just switch it. Go, well, 9,000 people here think I'm brilliant. So, who cares what you think?
Law of averages there, isn't it?
Exactly. And guys, do remember that the little icon that you see on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, there's a person behind that. So just be kind. Let's stop with the negativity. Let's stop with the bullying. Yes, there are terrible things happening in the world, and yes, it needs to be reported on. But just because, and sorry, James, I'll start wrapping it up. You brought me back to this. Just because you don't have, not even an opinion, you do have an opinion on it. Just because you're not commenting about a certain thing doesn't mean you don't have an opinion about it. Doesn't mean you don't support it. Don't feel bullied or pressured or anything into talking about that subject. It could be the war in Ukraine. That's the one that's happening at the moment. But there are several others out there. Just because you're not talking about it online doesn't mean you're not talking about it in real life.
No, it goes back to what you were saying. Is just I'm very aware that I'll be very hypersensitive if I make my opinions in a safe space. So I know I can say to my wife what I would like to say, or to certain people. I can, but when it comes to standing up though for people, that's different. So if you've seen when you mentioned that poor lady and I forget her name now, and I shouldn't. That sounds really awful. Who killed herself? Meghan Markle.
Caroline Flack.
Caroline Flack, not Meghan Markle. Oh my God, James.
She got a lot of bullying as well, though. To be fair.
Yeah, you got to stand up. I won't turn a blind eye of what something is just plain nasty.
No,
there's having an opinion, and then as you said, there's bullying. But as you say, everybody's each their own. You all have your own safe space, don't you?
Exactly. But bringing it back to the world of acting and getting away from politics and veganism and things like that, social media, I know we've just done a little bit of the negative side of that. Like, if you're using it right and you're using it as a tool, it can really help progress your acting career. Look at people like Johnny Weldon. He's been seen left, right, and centre now for all types of things. Our good friend Lawrence Russell, he's crushing it at the moment as well. And TikTok seems to be blowing up. I'm seeing loads of people getting TikTok famous and things like that, and joining shows. So use social media for good, and good things will happen to you. John, we are going to get you using Twitter and be Twitter savvy. Guys, if you're listening to this and you want some help with Twitter or Instagram or anything, please do hit us up on this community. I'm sure, if not me, one of my many pals will help you out. James, we're going to get you your Instagram and Twitter handle working alongside each other. And Evie, what can we do for you? What actionable thing can you take away from this chat?
Well, Well, a lot, really. There's been loads of things as we've gone along that I've gone, oh, yeah, yeah. Also, my Twitter name, I didn't know how to change your actual handle, so I had a look the other day because mine's not the same across all my platforms, so probably just that as well.
Nice one. It is doable. A quick Google search will help you with that. And if you get stuck, give me a shout.
Cool, thanks.
So before we wrap up, guys, I ask all my guests this. What one act on this feature has been most impactful to you, or would you recommend to someone else?
Babu Cisse.
Babu Cisse.
For me.
That's a good one.
100%.
James.
I'm still thinking because there's just it's all been brilliant. I suppose what taught me a lot about social media, and I thought I knew as much as I could know about social media, was actually the social media deep dive.
Nice.
That was amazing. That taught me so much. And you learn so much about this so-called algorithm. I didn't even know there was an algorithm, and I thought, oh God, I'm late to the party on that one. Social media deep dive. If you can get a hold of the act on this social media deep dive, because I know it's not available for everybody.
No, it's not.
More than worth it, though. It's more than worth it.
If you join us as a yearly subscriber, I do believe you get access to the social media deep dive. Yeah. If not, we are definitely releasing it as part of our First TV Role Fast Track course, which you will see us promoting a lot now. We've got the testimonials in. They are absolutely fantastic. We are going to be running that next month. So if you're an actor and you haven't had your first TV role yet, but you are desperate to get it, join this course. I did the course and I got my first TV role. Several others, I think 20 others, have now had their first TV roles.
I think
hundreds of others have had like auditions coming in, and it's just time now before they get their first TV role. Sorry, James, what were you going to say?
Yeah, no, I was on it, and I think I potentially could have got mine, and I didn't know it. Right. I think that if you know what I was talking to you about the other day, I was on Doctors, and I just thought I was going on to be an extra, and it kind of turned onto a walk on. But I'm waiting for the episode, because if I'm credited
if you've
as
got a
delivery driver, James, then potentially I've just got my first.
James has got his first TV credit without even knowing he's got his first TV credit.
But we don't know, because I'd have hyped that up royally. I was just happy that I got on, and they suddenly said, "Can you say some dialogue for us?" Yeah, of course you can. And then, oh, can we have you back? You know, if you're good, we'll have you as the resident kind of delivery driver. So
love that.
So James not only got his first TV credit, he's got his chuffing regular on Doctors.
Yeah, exactly. There we go. James Churchill Ellis, the courier now, you know.
Excellent.
So watch this space.
And John, which, because you've been with us for a long time, which one would you say has been the best?
Probably the career accelerator for me, because I'm not native to like the social media side of things. I've obviously becoming more and more aware that I need to up my game on that. So the Accelerator was that was the prod. I have done several other things that were recommended, updating show reels, blah 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 blah. But I just the whole sort of platform is just so, like you say, it's positivity. And if you're flagging, and we all do, then that's the place to go, isn't it? And just get that injection of enthusiasm again. I don't think I'll be doing the social media deep dive just yet. I might do. Did he do a paddle in the shallow end one? I'll have a go at that.
We'll help you with that, John. Don't you worry at all. Yeah. Guys, if you're listening to this on the audio experience, thank you. I say it every time. Thank you so much for getting this far in. Please do leave us a rating and a review, and share it to other actors that you might know who struggle with social media a little bit, and this might help them out. If you are watching this on YouTube, you know what to do. You smash that like button, you hit subscribe, and you ring that notification bell, and keep in touch with every piece of content that we do release here on YouTube over at Act on This. Please do follow my wonderful, wonderful guests. At the moment on Twitter, we have Evie, which is at
Oh, I'm saying it. Evie_G52.
See what I mean about the branding?
Yeah.
Get that Evie Gutteridge, we'll know where we're going. But at the moment, at Evie_G52 on Twitter. James Ellis, we have at,
let me just check. J. I've got to check it. Do John.
James is at J Churchill Ellis on Twitter. And
J.
John?
Churchill Ellis.
Mine is Acting John, but it's going to get changed to John Howard Jones because that is my spotlight handle.
Brilliant. And you can also find my wonderful guests over on Instagram as well, at EB Gutteridge, at James Churchill Ellis, at John Howard Jones. Please do follow me at Petch_act on this. That is my work one. Guys, I just want to say this as well before I do continue. If you are wanting to get in touch with me about anything acting related or act on this related or career related, get to me on at Petch_act on this or my Petch act on this account at Facebook as well. My other accounts are personal ones. I will happily have you on there, but that's for me to be personal. Work is work. So yeah, at Petch_act on this or at Lee Petcher. You can get that on Instagram as well, at Lee Petcher. Or do follow everything we do here at Act on This TV, at Act on This TV, both on Instagram and Twitter. Follow Ross as well, at Ross A. Grant, again on Instagram and Twitter. Branding across the board, easy to find. It's simple when you think about it, but when you set up the accounts, you don't think about that, do you? You just go for the first thing that goes in there. So guys, it's been a pleasure having you on. Is there anything you want to say before we say goodbye?
Just great to be here. Thanks for taking the time out to boost us all up when we're all feeling down.
Thanks, Petch.
Thank you for agreeing to be on. Like I said, otherwise it'd just be me on my own and nobody wants to see that. I do feel like I have a community of pals, why it's called Petch Pals. And I do like getting out of this grey dungeon every now and again and seeing people in the real world. I remember meeting Evie for the first time. I was like, Jesus, you have legs. It's weird.
Yeah.
So guys,
who knew?
Who knew indeed. Do you know the catchphrase for Petch Pals?
Yeah.
It is not bye for now.
No, it's not bye for now.
That's not it's no bye for now because you wanted your own one.
I wanted my own one, yeah. Like
if you
Petch.
listen to episode 1 of Petch and Pals, Petch tells you exactly what the answer is. So
I will say, ta for coming. As I point to the camera, you reply, you've been a right laugh with a point to the camera. Here we go, guys. Thank you so much, everybody, for taking your time out of your day to indulge us. Ta for coming.
You've been a right laugh.
Right laugh.
Yes!